Hello, hello, hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, hello. Did you stay after that? That's annoying. I might have logged off. Hello, welcome to These Books Are For Everybody, a podcast that works to make good lit exciting and accessible because, after all, much like these hoes, these books is for everybody. Miles. What's up? What's happening? Hello, welcome to episode 3, Consistency. I have a lot. I have so much to talk about this week. This is my first time in my life, actively keeping up with the news cycle in hopes of regurgitating it back at the completion of the week. Is it always this traumatic? God damn. I'm like, if I actually talked about everything that I wanted to talk about, we would be here for 2 hours, and that's too much. You got other stuff to do. You got other stuff to think about. But I really feel like I could break Cory bitch-ass Booker's filibuster with all the things that have happened in the last week. I was supposed to, while I was getting ready to record this, I was supposed to be listening to Cardi B's new album so that I could also talk about that, because that dropped on Friday, but I was on the phone complaining to my brother, so I missed it. But my brother's also important. But I did listen to her interview on The Breakfast Club, and I have been witnessing this rollout. Our girl is locked in. Our girl is locked in. I don't know what she's chasing. And she put up that video where she was like, I want this so bad. I'm not sure what she wants. I don't know if it's a certain position on the charts or some type of award recognition, but I see the hunger. And I love that, because I think a lot of times, especially when you get to Cardi B's level, a lot of time hunger goes away, and that's reflected in the art. So it's good to have a girl back. I heard the song with Kehlani. I saw a little bit of that video. There was another song. Oh, it was the diss at Bia. Good, dude. I love when rappers pop their shit. Please remind them, Cardi, about the Grammy. I guess you could come over here try to start stuff, but please don't forget that you and I are not the same. Don't forget. Oh, I love it. So I can't wait to dive into that. But that's not where I was actually going to start. So when I first started tracking the news cycle this week, it all started with Cecil Williams walking in the Actively Black fashion show. I was geeked. If you haven't, I've shared it in my stories. I've seen it reposted and go viral from a couple different spaces. But just to give you some background, there was that picture that went viral a few years ago of a Black man drinking out of a water fountain. The picture was actually taken in 1956. He's drinking out of a water fountain, and above the fountain it says whites only, and he's deadpanning the camera the only thing I wish a would, So that went viral. It was very powerful, just like a rebel with a cause. And so what Actively Black did is, I guess for their fashion week, they have a sweatshirt with Cecil on the front of the sweatshirt in that iconic 1956 picture. And Cecil came out and debuted the sweatshirt. He's 87, looks great, head full of hair. And then he walks out. He walks out to Bone Crushers. I ain't never scared. Oh my God, you guys. Listen, I said it was my Roman Empire. It's my Roman Empire, because a few months ago I tweeted, I think it was during the No Kings or whatever protest, which, you guys, time's up. Okay. It's time to get a little bit more. Our tactics need to be a little more tighter, and perhaps a little bit more disobedient. So I'm watching this No Kings protest. Evidently, somebody must have been playing Louis Armstrong or something, because I'm like, y'all are trying to protest to Louis Armstrong, and I'm trying to protest to Bone Crusher. So, to see Cecil come out to that song, knowing what he was risking in 1956 to even take that picture. And the truth of the matter is, Cecil is actually a photographer by trade. That wasn't that. Reminder, people be thinking things, important, iconic, culture shifting, societal shifting things that happen are always random, and they are generally never random. I think if you are listening to this, then I'm sure you have a basic understanding and knowledge about the background around the Montgomery bus boycott. That was a planned organizational resistance. So Cecil taking this picture, he didn't just have a disposable camera. It was hey, let me do this right quick. Cecil's actually a photographer. That's his job. And he's actually one of the prominent figures in South Carolina documenting the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s. So there's an entire museum dedicated to Cecil in South Carolina. Hold on. It's the Cecil Williams, South Carolina Civil Rights Museum, where you can see all of his photographs. Can I talk? All of his photographs. So like that picture that went viral, that iconic picture that is now on sweatshirts and t-shirts, was intentional. He did that on purpose. But it was just, I mean, this is actually a great place to start, because Cecil's iconic picture and the energy behind it is just like the resurgence we need. Like, I feel like based on the things that we have witnessed in the past week, in the past 2 weeks, it's pretty obvious that we might need to take a different tactic. You know what I'm saying? My general issues with the response to the current administration, and I'm talking about our elected officials, is that there just is no urgency or courage. Like, you're a civil servant, and you obviously took this because of the pay and the healthcare, because you are not actually risking enough for me, considering what is at stake. But the good news is, we all already knew if we held our breath waiting for our elected officials to do anything, that we would suffocate. And so I really just want to remind us all of the things that we can do to help resist what is currently happening in our country. First off, we all know this. We all know this. But you know what? I felt so hopeless when they kicked Jimmy Kimmel off. I felt so hopeless for 20 minutes that I genuinely forgot. So I'm sharing with y'all as a reminder, boycott. I was like, damn, they cut off Jimmy Kimmel. But I got on social media and people were like, so many people unsubscribed to Hulu and Disney that it like tanked the site. So yes, we live in a capitalist society. We know that money talks. None of us are rich, but all of us together, we could get something done. We can always try. So I actually made a non-exhaustive list of companies who did. So in that vein, I did make a non-exhaustive list of companies who fired an employee or two over their remarks over what the situation with CK. So we've got Madewell, we've got J. Crew, we've got ABC, we've got Disney, we've got CNN, we've got American Airlines, we've got Office Depot, MSNBC, Washington Post, United Airlines, Microsoft, DC Comics, Warner Brothers, Sony, and Delta Airlines. I love Delta Airlines. Damn, RIP. So that's first. Always just boycott, okay? Second, Lord have mercy, like, please join a political organization. Please. You can't just like wake up and you can't just keep reacting to stuff. Like, that is where you will wear yourself out. You have to build the thing. You have to build the thing that will resist if you will react to death. Join the Democratic Socialists, join the Black Alliance for Peace, join the Community Movement Builders, join Party for Socialism and Liberation. Use some of your time. Just make that a part of your life practice. Use some of your time to help dismantle the systems that put us in oppressive states and help us build the world that you want to have. Just dedicate a portion of your life to that. So when you die, it will say in your obituary that you were a card-carrying member of XYZ. Easy, you know? And it's very unglamorous and it's tedious and it takes a lot of like talking to people. I know, but we got to do it. I am a part of an organization. So yeah. And then number 3 is just like, it's time for civil disobedience. Okay, you guys, we gotta start. If the rule is immoral, we can't keep pretending like it's a good or decent law. You know, there have been crazy laws on the books. We can't just, they gonna flag me. But I saw a post, I think it was last year after the election or like right at the top of the year. I searched for hours. I could not find it because I really wanted to credit the original creator. If this rings a bell with anybody, let me know and I'll put it down in the comments. I'll reshape my caption, etc. But in order to get comfortable with like breaking rules, the big rules, you have to start with the small ones. And like, I am someone who generally speaking is a rule follower. I was raised as a rule follower. So like, not doing something, even when I know that it's a ridiculous thing to do, is still hard for me because I was raised and taught and nurtured to follow rules. So it really is just like starting with little stuff to like build up your discomfort, like to build up your discomfort, your capacity for discomfort. So, I mean, the example that came to mind was like, you go into a store and know you're going to buy something that is like $11, but only have a 10 on you, and just rest in that and push, like try hard to get them to give it to you anyway. And like, do little stuff like that. I don't know if jaywalking would be a big deal for you, but then jaywalk, double park, or park on the wrong side of the street and do your hazards and go do something real quick. I know there are a lot of us who just like follow rules so closely that it really gives us anxiety to not follow them. And I think just practicing small moments and then making them larger and larger will make it easier to stand up against like blatant fascism that's happening or speaking out about it. Because I mean, we can't be quiet. We can't be quiet. But is that what I got? Let me see. Yeah, Kimmel's show is canceled. 2 folks were found hanging in Mississippi last weekend. It's a wild life. Okay, let's move on to get it off your chest. So, this is a segment where a listener anonymously gives me a musing or a question, or, they're just getting something off their chest just for us to noodle on and to bear witness and to hold space for it together. We are the type of species that need that type of thing. This one isn't as long as last week's. Last week was great. I got a lot of good feedback about Kelly and Miles. You guys, if Kelly and Miles' submissioner is listening, we would love an update. Like, what, Kelly and Kelly's best friend, what's the vibe? What are y'all doing? Where does Miles come into play? My advice was like, y'all go out to eat. Don't talk about Miles. Just have your own separate relationship as much as possible. Have you been like, were y'all already doing that? How's that working? Did y'all listen to the Taylor Swift album together? Did the Taylor Swift album come out? Or is there an album coming or she just get married? I don't know, child. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, this Get It Off Your Chest, I titled The Death of Imagination. But after I read it, let me see. Tell me if you feel like I hit the mark. Y'all ain't nosy enough for me, and that's why your kids can't read. Just came out the gate. Swing. To disrespect the babies because it's not their fault the people who birthed them aren't nosy. It is always easy to say the public school is failing our kids, or these teachers are only here for a paycheck, or my personal favorite cop-out, there ain't no more big mamas, that's why these kids act like this. The reality is your kids can't read a room, a book, body language, or the writings on the wall because your inability to allow them to process a thought or ask a question is stunting them. I genuinely want to know why y'all don't care enough to ask follow-up questions or to seek out the answers to questions you never thought to ask. Like when you watch the news and you hear something like tsunamis in the Philippines can trigger earthquakes in California, do you pause to revel in the fact that the world regularly shows us we are connected? Do you stop to wonder how often tsunamis affect islands in Asia? Do those musings make you wonder if the reason there are islands is because of those tsunamis? No? Why not? If I succeeded in agitating you and rage baiting you by calling your parental skills into question, allow me to put on my gaslighting hat while I beg you to take a second to listen to who you think this rant here is dissing. Asking questions is a major step in literacy. It sparks interest and allows you to realize no matter how long you've been alive and bored, there are so many things that you do not and may not ever know. However, every day on this earth is time you can spend asking why and how come. When you allow yourself to be nosy, you can start creating a safe space for you to learn. You can dictate what you learn and the methods you use to learn. Oftentimes, the more questions you ask, the more you start to recognize patterns and make inferences. You can then use these tools to empower the babies to want to know more. You can empower them to see past their friends saying, I'm okay, even though the downturn of their eyes and their switch in personality says otherwise. Am I saying that if you minded other people's business more often, it would increase your child's literacy by allowing them to feel confident in not knowing things because they are comfortable knowing that they can ask questions and will have the tools to find the answers? Yes, I am saying literacy is more than the ability to read a book. It is about reading a room, reading body language, and reading the writings on the wall. P.S. Y'all is not directed at any one individual. I just reside in the South. I said what I said, though. Okay, I think about people's lack of curiosity a lot. And I called this the death of imagination because I love when the writer said, when you watch the news and you see a tsunami, it does not make you think of or does not make you revel in, curious about, you know what I'm saying? I have an unpublished essay just sitting in my like documents or whatever. And it's called The Death of the Follow-Up Question. And I was like going through unpacking a bunch of my relationships and how the conversation just feels like very, very ping-pongy, not in the type of way where you could actually dig in around the dirt of the underbelly of a thing, because people, and it's not because these are surface level relationships. These are relationships that I have been in with people, and I know I know vulnerable things about these people. So it's not like ping pongy in the way where you're just like, how you doing? Good, me too. It's just like, I'm sharing this, you're sharing this, I'm sharing this, in hopes that you would follow up about, but you're sharing this. And I think it's a two-pronged situation. I think that we exist in this space for two reasons. One, I think people are lonely. Like, I think the loneliness epidemic is a major reason why people's curiosity is stunted. So when, in the off chance that people do get the opportunity to ponder about a big idea or a big concept in a room, they have been so deprived of actually having some type of human interaction to bounce this off with, that they just can't help but take up all the fucking space. Lord have mercy, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. We hate it. The other people in the room hate it. Okay? You need a journal or a podcast. Look. And so I think, and I really do think that I think that this desperation creates the other prong, which just pushes anybody else's thoughts or opinions to the side. They don't even have space for it, because they're finally like, people are looking at me, how much space I need to give them everything that I have, because I don't know when I'll have this opportunity again. So I'm going to spit out everything that I can spit out in hopes that I am heard, because who knows when I will be heard again. And honestly, like, the child literacy thing, I don't know, dog. It befuddles me, like, genuinely. Because I have been talking to people, educators, special ed educators, people who, like, I was talking to them while they were getting their master's degrees. They have children who are reading way below the level they're supposed to be reading at, and they're just like, they'll figure it out. And that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. I do what a teacher is doing in a classroom is obviously important. Like, I lose sleep about who my kids are in classrooms with on any given day, because I know so many people with so much stuff, and I just don't think that they should be in front of babies trying to teach them anything until they unpack their stuff. But more importantly than that, I just know at the end of the day, I am the person who is raising the child. In my case, I pushed these children out of my body, but that doesn't have to be the case. I am responsible for the well-being and the emotional, like, aptitude of this child first and foremost. So I need to make sure that they have everything that I think they need, which would include, unequivocally, literacy. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. We'll figure it out. That is so crazy to me. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. So yeah. And then to the point where, like, people aren't nosy, and that's why their children are not, like, learning how to read. That made me think of, like, the societal situation at play. So there is a organization in my community called Ubuntu. Shout out to Dr. Monique Liston, baddest bitch in the game. And they've been doing this programming every MLK Day, where it's just like a very intentional communal moment to uplift and celebrate, acknowledge Dr. Martin Luther King. And this last year, me and my family went, and it was like, the theme was like, won't you be my neighbor? And somebody at some point was talking about, like, if something happens in your house and you got to get out of your house, like, it's an emergency, you've got hey ho ho, you've got to go, is there somebody that you could knock on their door in your neighborhood and you would not be introducing yourself to them for the first time? And so many people, no, they would definitely be introducing themselves to this person for the first time. And I think that speaks to, like, it does take a village to raise a child. So, like, people aren't nosy because, like, they're being worked to the bone and they don't have other people to help them raise the kid, you know? Like, wage slavery is absolutely a thing. So, like, it takes energy to be nosy about your kid. You need space to be nosy and emotionally, like, rested enough to pick up on the unspoken cues of your child. And so, like, you not having the time and space to do that just trickles down to your child's inability to do it for themselves or to do it in their own relationships. So I just, like, we need to bring back the analog hangs. We do. People need community. Like, people just need community. They need it. They need people who love them and who they can see them and they can be their imperfect selves with. They need help with children. They need help with food. Like, all, you know? So I really think that is where it starts, with just like reestablishing the analog OG community that gets us through. I really think that's just like the bottom line. I don't know. Have people in your house, host shit, go to shit, have multi-generational friendships. I don't know. All right, let's talk about some books. Okay, you guys. First off, I just want to say I had so much fun. So much fun. In Mississippi. I had so much fun in Mississippi. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I love writers. I love them. Okay, I love like accomplished writers. Writers who don't like have everything that they want. They got some weird ego shit going on that's a little exhausting. But like the writers who are where they want to be in life and who have like set out to do the thing and they've done the thing and they feel like they get it. They're getting like the flowers they deserve. They're just so chill. And then like you're talking about not being nosy, not being curious. They are the most curious demographic. Like the things that they can ponder about during dinner, or like the jokes, or like what you can talk about. I love a good, emotionally aware, balanced artist. I love that. And I think the world would be a better place if more people just got to do their art and got to have like live off it. Because I mean, honestly, I'm just talking to, when you go to festivals like that, you're talking to a bunch of people who make money off of their art. Maybe not like they're completely live off of it, but they're pretty comfortable because of what they make. And like, yeah, that's, in this society, unfortunately, it's a privilege. It should not be, but it's a privilege. So I had so much fun. Love Angela Flournoy. She's a Aquarius, and you know I fuck with an Aquarius. Shout out to Yaz. So like, and my brother and my father. Like, yeah, she was great. She was I think she was one of my favorite. And then like Addie Kitchens is just hilarious. Like, it was so much fun. I already knew Joseph Earl Thomas was that nigga, bro. Like, I already knew that. So that wasn't like a surprise. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Oh, Ricky Fayne, whose book I'm about to talk about. So we're gonna get into Ricky in a minute. Yeah, my panel was cool. Natalie Guerrera did not come to the panel. I don't think she was at the festival, so I do hope that she's okay. But I did. Jemima was wonderful. Oh gosh, yes, Jemima is brilliant and wonderful. And also Layla, 23. Talk about, I just find men disappointing. Period. Oh gosh. When I have the video, I will definitely put it up on my YouTube channel. It won't go in the podcast playlist, but I'll put it up and I'll share it everywhere because it was a fun. I did have fun. I think about like, I write these questions and it just usually feels better when I'm just like riffing. And I know that I could riff because I read everything closely enough, but like with a panel, if you don't, I feel like when I don't have as like a map with a panel, we can end up in Nova Scotia and we were trying to get to Mauritius, like real easy. So, but I've just been reflecting on that. Like, it's been a minute since I like actually interviewed someone. Oh my God, which reminds me, my interview with Rob Franklin that came out on Friday, Rob deserved better, from the technical standpoint. Oh my gosh. That was actually my first interview that I ever did. So like the audio is trash and the video is trash, but like Rob is brilliant. And that book is great. I'm actually going to once I'm done recording this episode, I'm actually going to make just like an OG, like TikTok, Instagram shorts review of Great Black Hope because y'all don't need to pick it up. I digress. So yes, Mississippi was great. I had fun. I also saw the homies. Shout out to Tracy and Sarah and Celeste and Crystal. We had so much fun. I had a blast. It was so great. The conversation between Tracy and Jason and Hanif, hilarious. I have literally been listening to the Isley Brother discography because Jason declared that they should be in the running for the greatest bands of all time. And I was like, I vehemently was against that. And perhaps I can get into that later because I have been unpacking why I was vehemently against it. But now I've been listening and like, yeah, their doo-wop does go crazy. Was that Ronald singing Maine? Because holy crap, he was singing. So yeah. So as far as what I'm currently reading, I'm listening to a book and then I'm physically reading a book. So the book that I'm listening to is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. And that is a campus novel. I be trying to get my campus novel. I'm so just predictable. Like, I'm going to read some horror and I'm going to read a campus novel in the fall. And I did like a buddy read of a campus novel like 3 years ago. And it was between The Idiot and Real Life. And when I like posted them, all the ones who would know were telling me like, you can't go wrong with either of these. We ended up reading Real Life, which if you know me at all, it's one of my favorite books, damn near. I will read anything Brandon writes because of how crazy Real Life went. But everyone said that The Idiot was also so beautiful. So it's just like been on my list for years. So I finally was like, let me try and listen to it. Let me see if I can listen to it. Like a campus novel, I generally, when I'm listening to a book, I'm going more like plot driven, not like this introspective character driven situation, which is usually what campus novels exist. That's the space that they take up. Real life, on beauty, also love that. That's one of my favorite books as well. So I was like, let me give it a try. But the fun part about this, like coming out in 2017, is the audiobook is literally just a leaf reading it. Which just helps me feel like I'm reading it. So it's not like, some audiobooks, they feel like a dramatic reading. Dominion had this music in the middle when he would read that incantation, I'm just a nobody trying to save anybody, like that. And then the organ, none of that. A leaf is reading. And it really is helping me absorb the story a lot better. It follows our protagonist, Celine. She is a freshman at Harvard. So she's a baby. She's like 18. And she is literally just like trying classes. She's just trying classes, and she's trying them on like the same way you are like trying on identities to like go forth into adulthood. So I feel like that's the juxtaposition that's happening. And it is just really beautiful to watch her like, form these relationships. And she's a little bit like, she's not an overthinker. She's not paranoid. She's just like a little bit detached and like, just like, this is how it goes. Yes, I disappointed this person and like, I'm enjoying that, because then when like a really crystal clear moment of introspection falls in, it just hits that much harder. Like, there was something that I just listened to last night, where she was talking about like, they always say midlife or in the middle of your life. I just feel like until the day we die, we're in the middle. And I'm like, yeah, like you're just constantly trying to like dink away at the thing. And I really just like, that's what the book is about. It's just her day to day figuring out how to navigate these relationships, figuring out like, just trying to figure out how much emotional oomph do you assign to the different aspects of like your existence and your curiosities, because she isn't just like a one thing. She's in this Russian class, she tried to join the orchestra, she couldn't join the orchestra, she's in this fine arts class, and she's just trying stuff, which I think is just like, that is really timely to like the space that she's in. I mean, I recommend it's slow. I wouldn't recommend it to Tracy, but I'm sure Sarah loved it. That's my scale. Tracy to Sarah, which is like entirely too binary, because Tracy will love a novel, and Sarah in my experience with Sarah, I feel like she reads anything good. So like, I feel like Tracy's expectations for novels are higher or different, maybe I'll say, than me and Sarah's. But yeah, they're my book chat, like group chat. We have a group chat called Critics Corner, so that's why they're my spectrum. And then the book that I'm reading, I'm gonna actually go get it so you guys can see the cover. Hold on. Okay, the book that I'm reading is The Devil Three Times by Ricky Fayne. I met Ricky at the Mississippi Book Festival. He's sweet as pie, and he is also like currently at the UW Madison teaching, I'm assuming. And then also, shout out to Daniel at Boswell. He gave this to me at the beginning of the summer, and he was like, you would love this. Daniel, it's his job to give book recommendations, but holy shit is he good at his job, because every book that he's given me, I was either like gonna read it, or like it was already on my list, or like now I can't get enough. So like, I started this one 2 nights ago. The syntax can't be listen, you can't be doing anything else when you're reading this book. You can't be thinking about nothing else. You can't be thinking about anything else when you're reading this book. You can't stop after a paragraph or two and then check your phone real quick. Put your phone in a different room. Sit and be still for 5 minutes, and then pick up the book, because you got to lock in. Okay, it's about this family's curse or deal that they make with the devil, and this folklore, like in this like Zora Neale Hurston tradition around folklore. We're in the South right now. My homie is on a plantation enslaved, but we've already been to Africa. We've literally been to the heavens, like, and it's working. This a writer. You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh, it's so good. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna take me a minute. If I lock in, it doesn't take me a minute. And honestly, I'm gonna reach out to Ricky for an interview, so then that at least will put me on a deadline, because otherwise I'll spin out. So that's that's what I'm currently reading. I love them both. My low-key, I hope to finish them next week, but you might low-key hear more from me next week. And The Idiot was met with such high praise. I just kind of want to dig in and see what other people are talking about, what other people said about the book, because it is a little older. But yeah, the reading life is good. So yeah, this is our third episode. This is season 1, episode 3. I hope you have fun. Don't forget, if you have something you need to get off your chest, the form is in all the show notes. The link to The Idiot and The Devil 3 Times is in the show notes. Anything that I talked about during Get It Off Your Chest, I mean, anything hemmed up real bad? I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, show notes. But I'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I hope if you don't do nothing else today that you go pick up a book, a good one, because again, much like these hoes, these books is for everybody. I'll see you guys later.